Welcome, Internet, to Party Wipe Gaming. I'm sorry, not in any sense that I'm apologizing, but that's actually my name here. And that's the one joke that everybody has for me. For the first game that I'm playing for the channel, I've decided to dig out a old Genesis classic that I used to play when I was younger. Gunstar Heroes. Let's dive right on in. This game has a lot of good music, but a lot of loud music, too. Hopefully I've managed to adjust all the levels properly, so the music isn't just blaring over my voice, or vice versa. There are the three Gunstars, blue, red, and green. Green looks like he might be a little higher up, considering he's riding around on a cool little platform. Genesis games back in the day didn't really have much in the way of plot, so even getting this much is something. And there's Gunstar Yellow, although we don't really... I don't think we learned her name in this one. They did a remake later on, and I think they said that she was Gunstar Yellow, although she's not much of a Gunstar in the sense that she doesn't fight. And we're going to play on normal difficulty, and there's the config menu and sound test, but we're going to be playing right on in on normal. Now, the two different characters are different in the sense that one of them you can run around and shooting, as the professor says down there, and the other one you can fire in all 8 directions, but you are completely stationary when you're doing so. I prefer the free shot, and you get to pick between one of your 4 little guns here. You can have the force fire, and that is basically just a regular gun. The lightning will go through enemies. The chaser basically is a homing gun, and the fire is a flamethrower. Now, the cool thing about this game is each of these shot types, as you see in the kind of by my vitality meter that there's 2 placements for bullets, you can collect another bullet. And when you do that, your gun type will change, and you can combine, say, a force with a lightning, and that gives you an entirely different gun. Or you could do force and force, and then that gives you a stronger version of the force gun. And, you know, there's a lot of combinations. That's why this game's really cool. I'm going to take Chaser, because that's my preferred gun of choice. And you get to pick one of 4 levels. We're going to start with the first one. Not that it really matters, not that it's the first one in terms of this is the easiest, because it certainly has some difficulty towards the boss. I have a really hard trouble with the boss on this one, but maybe not this time. We'll see. You can run around and shoot, but you also, if you double tap the jump button, you will actually kind of do a body. You'll do a body slam. And if you attack really close up, you will instead kind of throw your enemies. So there's a lot of variety in the how you deal with people. And I just grabbed 2 chasers. So now I have the star gun, which is 2 chasers, and it's much, much more powerful. It's actually not my favorite gun. Chaser and lightning is my favorite, but that has issues. So there are a lot of bosses in this game, like a ton of bosses, and they all get their own little intro screen where they say this is the boss's name, this is what the boss can do, although it doesn't really give you any insight on anything. It's just a nice little flavor. And as you notice, I completely just murdered him, because the chaser is really good against bosses, and the double chaser even more so. So we're just gonna keep on going. This is definitely the kind of game that will throw a ton of enemies at you. Just because it can. Oh, I forgot to mention, but these little heart is, well, what many people would expect. They give you more vitality. And now this is somewhat unfair, because they all have cool jetpacks and I do not. There is no point in killing these enemies, because they will just go away once you hit the top of the pyramid, so really I'm just gonna go there, and there again. So now it's time for the second boss, Bravo Man. He's got the spitting driver and the dragon punch. He's also really not threatening. The bosses in this game are actually not the things that will kill you for the most part. Except for one boss, which anybody who's played this game knows. It has the one boss. Most games have the one boss. This one being no exception. And once you beat Bravo Man, you're going for a bit of a ride down the pyramid, which it takes a heck of a lot longer to get off this thing than it does to climb up it, I've noticed. Architecture in this world is a little weird. Maybe they built it on the side of a cliff. And this is the way down. The chaser makes this kind of trivial because enemies that are... So there's supposed to be these guys who are falling down after me. And they're supposed to provide some platforming for me to kind of jump around, but the chaser will just kill them before they even get on the screen. Except for the guys with the guns. But we're well past that. Now we're running around a bee forest, I guess. And there's something trying to grab me. Not a fan. Ah, it was an ambush all along. In the bee forest. And here's the final boss of this stage. Pinky Rotor. Her actions are Hitman Shot and Iron Knuckle. And she's actually not really the boss at all because she's just going to sit in there and let her henchman do the work. The henchman being this guy on the gun and the guy piloting it. The guy on the gun is the only real problem, but if you just kind of dodge around his shots, you should be fine. Not that I'm doing a very good job of that. I've actually had problems with this guy. And now Pinky herself comes out and throws bombs at you. But that's not much of a problem. Well, I was trying to get underneath the boss, because if you can get underneath the boss, you have a much easier time with it. But I keep getting caught and kicked. Now, you can go stand on the foot, but when the Hitman's out, that's a really bad idea, because he will just rip you to pieces with that gun. There we go. Alright, now this fight just got much easier. I'm gonna take some hits, but I'm gonna do just way more damage than they are. In fact, we pretty much just won. And the first boss is down. Well, the first level boss is down. And at the end of each level boss, you get a gem. The gems are what we're collecting, although we don't exactly know why yet. Only the bad guys want them, so we're gonna stop them. So normally I would ride right into the next level, but I think this was a good introduction video, and I'm going to be done here. Next time we'll tackle green.